So it is to the printing press, to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive.
All right, welcome to the Patriot Tech, back up for the Patriot Hour. We got Greg in the room, Watchful Warrior. If you guys aren't subscribed over there, I highly recommend you get over there and subscribe. What's going on, brother? Oh, it looks like we're getting a little bit of a glitch. We'll get going here. We're trying to have Amy in as well. Just a little bit of issues going on tonight. What's going on, brother? How you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, Mike. How are you?
We are doing better. All right, we are in. Let me get this fired up for the box up here real quick. I didn't have that going. I figured I'd missed something. On. There we go. All right, we got our chatters. How's everybody doing out there? We see Amy's in the chat. There. Can you hear the ring?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Can you hear Greg?
Hello,
Say
Miss
something,
Amy.
Greg. I heard him.
Hello.
Hey.
He hears you. All right, so we're having technical difficulties for because otherwise you were going to be
In the studio.
beaming in the studio.
Bummer.
All right, hey, I see Elle. Haven't seen Elle in a while in the chat. That's awesome to see Elle. David Woodruff, Simone. Awesome, you guys.
Awesome. The crew.
Yes. Whoa.
Sweet. I am actually getting into the chat right now using my iPad, so
Perfect.
I'll be there in just a second.
So, what have you guys heard anything? I heard today a lot of people, Trump came out and kind of stood up for the Second Amendment, saying nobody should do it, and they're all the left's flipping out that he isn't sticking by what he had said, and the whole thing is Trump doesn't make laws. Presidents don't make laws, right? They just sign them. Congress is supposed to, there's a whole process. So I think it's funny. He trolls and people fall for it. I actually fell for it about a year and a half ago when he talked about, well, Nancy, just, why don't you guys maybe pull the guns first and ask questions later? Why don't you do your job, sit at the table, get with the Republicans, come up with an idea, come up with an agreement, get you guys agree on something, get it signed off, get it to my desk. And everyone's like, oh, did you hear that? He talked about getting the guns and grabbing them. And I'm like, yeah. It'll never happen. And, here it is a year and a half, 2 years later. I think it's a lot of trolling. I mean, you don't have to agree with what he says. I'm not saying when he said, what he said last week was like, I'd agree with him. But I knew it was just a joke or a troll. And it seems like a week later, here it is. So.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, and a lot of people were freaking out. A lot of Trump supporters were freaking out, and I was like, to me, I thought he's playing the game. He's playing the game, and we all know that Trump is like the king troll. So, I decided to remain calm and try to keep other people calm. It didn't work 100%, not for everybody, but it was nice to see a good group of people, mainly Q followers though. It's the Q followers that were the ones that were remaining calm, whereas those who don't follow Q were freaking out. And it was discouraging. It was very discouraging.
It gets there. What'd you think, Greg?
Today, Trump went to Louisville, Kentucky, right? And on his way there, he stopped and he did one heck of a great job with those reporters on his way to Air Force One. And he touched on so many topics, and he did such a fantastic job today. I was really impressed. I was really proud of him. I mean, he really did a good job. Um, I'm a constitutionalist, Mike, a straight up constitutionalist, and I really do believe in, when it says, shall not be infringed. I really believe that, and I don't want to see it infringed any more than what it's already been done. So I hope that he sticks to his word. I hope that he sticks with background checks and doesn't go with, red flags. I know there are a lot of rhinos that are involved in pushing for red flags. I know that in the Senate and in the House, the last two red flag bills that were introduced were both introduced by Republicans.
Yes.
So I'm interested to know, how we can, stop these rhinos from continuing to push these red flag laws. And I think someone whispered into the president's ear a little bit and said, hey, this red flag stuff is, like pre-crime, and maybe we should consider dropping that language and sticking with the term, background checks, more stringent background checks.
Yeah.
So I've kind of seen him lose that language over the last week or two, or last week.
I agree. Also, he did, this probably doesn't affect any of us here, but just something else that he had signed into law right before we came on and did the show a little bit earlier, but the disabled veterans at 100% level, wiping out their student loans. Now, that's always been there. I did the VA for a local Legion. I was a vet rep, mostly just to get these old Vietnam vets and the new current vets getting out in touch with the local vet reps that really help them or whatnot. But we'd get paperwork going and started, and I ended up knowing a lot of the laws. But anyway, for 100%, there was already, if you're permanent and total, there was already student forgiveness. And it works with Social Security, disability, or with VA, but you have to be considered permanent. Now, what all Trump really did, and it's still a really great thing, is he made it automatic. So what it was if you look at the numbers today, before he made it automatic, there are 40,000 roughly eligible disabled veterans at that level of 100% permanent total. Out of the 40,000, they said that are eligible, that must have student loans, because they must have looked into it. There's 40,000 that have student loans. 8,000 were what was it? 8,000 were pay good, like already did it themselves. Out of the 40,000 eligible, 8,000 have put in the paperwork themselves. 23,000 were in a bad area with the loans. Like 20 out of the 40,000, 23 actually had like missed payments. So there was quite a few that were eligible but didn't know about it, weren't taking advantage of it. So this automatic thing now is it just automatically happens. So it would take care of all 40,000. There's 40,000 out there, and I guess that's telling us that there's quite a few 15 to 18,000 that were actually making their payments and doing all right with the student loans, paying it back. But theirs is going to get wiped out as well automatically. So. It's not a huge thing. It's a plus. I mean, I agree with it. It's if you have something, but it's almost like you have to put in the paperwork. If you don't, you'll never see that benefit. And so they might as well just do it automatically. Right. So now if a veteran's in that status, they're going to scan them, and the scan is student stuff. And if there's something there, it gets taken care of. Right. If there's nothing there, it doesn't benefit them. But is what it is. So.
Right.
I'm talking
I got a face-to-face next week with the VA, so I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I'll let you know how that works out.
You got a meeting? You got a VA appointment?
Yeah, next week. We're gonna do some case reviews and stuff, go over some stuff. So I'll see if their disposition has changed since last time I visited with them.
Oh yeah. So how about you, Amy? You still there?
Yeah, I had to go up to Chicago.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm enjoying listening to you talk, and Greg. Yes, I did. I did hear that. Um, so is it that Trump ordered that all permanently disabled vets, their student loans would be completely wiped out and
Yeah,
forgiven?
forgiven. Yep, yep. And that's already been the case. So look, Trump didn't,
Okay.
and that's what I was trying to explain. I mean, it's still a great thing. He just made it automatic now. So,
Okay.
so there is not going to be anyone that will be eligible but not do it because they didn't put their paperwork in themselves. So now it's going to happen like, there will be no more somebody left behind that is like, went 10 years with bad credit, and then somebody tells them like, you could have got that wiped off your credit. What? And then they get it wiped off, and then they can maybe get a house or something. But for 10 years, they couldn't because they didn't know. This is actually
Wow.
working out for a few people we actually have been in contact with. So I tweeted that out to a few people, and they came back like, oh my gosh. A couple people I know are at 100% just through the channel networking and all that. So you said something about Chicago, Greg. You have to go up to Chicago.
Oh, no. I mean, initially I had to go to Great Lakes,
Okay.
the Naval Medical Center out there in
Gotcha.
Chicago. But the other thing I thought that was kind of remarkable that Trump did today was he went to Louisville, Kentucky, and he met with the AMVETs. Now, normally, AMVETs are kind of like the redheaded stepchild of the veterans groups, right? I mean, they're not talked about, they're not really ever acknowledged or considered, like the American Legion or the
DAV,
VFW.
VFW,
But,
DAV, and
yes.
Legion. Those are the three big
Yep.
ones.
Yep. And so it was nice to see that the AMVETs got some recognition today from the president. I think that's going to help their numbers grow. So I was
That's
really happy
positive.
to see that today.
That's very positive.
Yeah, that's a positive for sure.
What
I'm checking out the chat, y'all.
yeah, I'm looking at it too.
I see you all in there. I want to shout out to Joe Alla. He's awesome. He's been around since the beginning.
David.
So shout out to Joe. I see Joe in there. David Woodruff. And
Yep, he's just had a baby. It's not his first. He's got a 9-year-old, I believe, maybe 9 or 10-year-old already.
Yeah. So David's got 2 boys now. Congratulations, David. And High Roller. He's shouting out to me. So hi Roller. And Thumper Rose. I haven't seen Thumper in quite a while, so I wanted to shout out to her and say, welcome back, sis.
I haven't seen her in a while either.
Yeah.
That's a name.
Yeah. She's awesome. And she actually lives fairly close to me, and her and I are gonna get together one of these days and have a few drinks.
Thumper
Right, Thumper?
Thumper Rose. Maybe she's somebody that we picked up over here but never. I wonder if we got people here that aren't on the Patriot Hour.
Well, she's definitely over at the Patriot Hour.
Okay.
Yeah, and so who else we have in here? Sabertooth Cat Birdsong. He's been hanging out with us for a little while now, and he is a trip.
I haven't used this Patriot Tech in like 6 months. I mean, other than the last couple days. Like, this is a live. I think we did one on Sunday. I did one with Greg Fluid Pour because I was telling Watchful Warrior here that we got I did the Antifa. I showed 2 minutes of Antifa throwing that stuff in that kid's head, and then I guess at the end I also showed some Patriots hitting back, and YouTube said it was violent, and I was promoting something, and I was like, well, geesh, all those videos came from YouTube. The other channels that I took them from they're still up. They don't shut those down. It's just unbelievable how they decide.
It's absolutely absurd.
Have you had any issues, you guys, either of you, any issues with anything, or no? Not really.
Not so much for me because, well, my personal channel, no, I haven't had any issues other than anytime I go live, I'll jam out and I'll get some, I guess, warnings, but they haven't shut my channel down, but I don't really do much with my channel.
You get the warning saying content found, and then you just turn it down and it goes away because you have a certain amount of time, I believe.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. Thank you, Jay Berwick. You rock. He's
Hey, Miss
on this.
Amy,
He said,
there's
"Amy, you
I see
rock."
Sandra in the chat.
Yes, Sandra.
Sandra Ann.
She's awesome.
I have.
So that's why. Is that why you lost your rights to go live? And so how long
It'll be
until
sometime in November.
November? No kidding.
It's 90 days. Anytime, like I just got done telling Ben that, like, wow, we had a copyright issue before that. And it's Fox News lately. So the live stream actually what really did it was, so what really took us down was the live Trump at an hour and 40 minutes in, it got booted down and it said content found. And it was saying from 5 minutes to the 15-minute marks. But here we're at an hour, 40 minutes in. They come back to say at the 5-minute mark dash through 15 minutes, Fox News owns it. And they own the whole damn thing. That was the feed I was taking, but they only claimed this 10 minutes of it. And they blocked it worldwide. They do that. So Fox is getting really bad. The reason I grabbed Fox's was because they're one of the only ones that don't have like banners all over. Like some of the other live streams that already have banners like I have up right now. So it looks kind of... So Fox has a really little one in the corner. Well, then I cover that up with the live chat thing or something. I'll do something to make sure it's covered. What you really need to do is like mirror it, flip it and all that. But people get upset like, well, everything's backwards. But it's just Trump talking. You shouldn't really care that people's signs are backwards. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I just left it as it was and it got hit. And it's probably the last time. Like we just need to not do Trump rallies, I guess. It's always fun. I love them. We've had like feeds with like 7,000 people in them. That was like,
Oh my gosh, we've had some of the best times ever at Trump rallies.
Absolutely.
So this is
What about
something I
RBN?
wanted to ask you about, Michael. It really scares me, the thought of how much power YouTube has. I mean, I'm not sure if you're aware, like the Trump Fan Network, they were like wiped out and they had close to 200,000 subs.
yeah.
So what kind of so what would we do in that case if your channel was just wiped out, gone, done? We need to you probably already have a plan or something in the works, but
I used to think about it a lot. I don't anymore. It's just like this. I put it to be, if they're already hit us up on the one thing. So then after the Trump rally, it seems like that's happened before. Like we got a live stream takedown. So if they do a live stream takedown, I didn't see any strikes show up. I didn't have any community issue and there was no strikes. And the channel had been reset like a month or two ago. I was telling Ben, I was like, wow, we don't have any strikes. We don't have anything going on. We're in good standing. You know, we've never gotten the plaque. At 100,000, you're supposed to get the bullshit YouTube plaque. We're at 162,000, never received a plaque. We're never going to receive one. And, you know, we don't show violence. There's all the rules. I talk a lot. I mean, I guess there's some videos I put together that show some stuff. But what's scary is they can go back in time out of the 1,200 videos and find enough stuff to, and I think that's what happens with people. When they get fed up with you, they just go back real quick and, oh, here's something, bloop, 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 bloop. And when you wake up in the morning, it's gone.
yeah.
That's what happens. I don't know. I think once I found out that they have the liable, they're not held liable, that they had went and lobbied or Congress called them in and they went in front of Congress and they can never be held liable for any of the content that we put on here. But also what I didn't know, and this is what I found out just a couple weeks ago, looking into all this when it came back up, was that they're also not liable to us for what they really, that's how they have it written in. They're not liable to the, you know, if somebody puts a violent video, threatens somebody or does this, they're not liable for all the, you know, us calling out other people's names, for example, where the media sometimes can be sued or whatnot, right? So then they also aren't liable to us. Like, and I believe that means all these people that think they can get a lawsuit, they're really not. And it's like, well, they shouldn't be able to have it that good. If you're not liable, then you have nothing to worry about. I mean, I can understand if somebody comes on your platform and is like threatening other people or sitting here talking about what they're going to go and do, and that you know that you can take that down. There should be clear, and if anyone does that, but you don't, you know, you see these people that came on and talk against Trump and have heads in their hands with a fake head, and they don't take that stuff down, and that's really nasty and violent. But when somebody on the other side does it, they're removed and taken down, and they say that it's kind of hate speech or something. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we know the issue, and everyone acts like, well, they're a private company, they should be able to do what they want. Well, then that's fine. Take away the liable stuff and let them operate like that. And then, you know, YouTube would go, well, that wouldn't be no fair. We wouldn't get anywhere if we had to be held liable. Whoa. You can't have it the best, you know, it has to be one way or the other. That's all I can really say about it.
And Mike, you know what? I think what we're learning is not really about any of that at all. It's really about control.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Exactly.
Google has been up to testify before Congress many, many times already. Still, it doesn't seem like, at least for us at the bottom end, it's getting any better. I'm not really sure what it's going to take. I mean, I know the president has even gone so far as to, you know, threaten Google and threaten, you know, Twitter and threaten places who continue to, you know, pull, you know, conservative speech. So, I mean, everybody's got their eye on it, but I don't really see it getting any better. I mean, it's just not. So
it probably won't. It's
what do you think?
it'll probably go down. They're probably prepared to go down with the ship,
Right.
you know. So yeah, what do you think, Amy?
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. It's just crazy, you know, and I've heard some people say, when is Trump going to do something about, you know, our freedom of speech? And I mean, is there something that he can do? I mean, it's very apparent that the left is, you know, they're trying to control the narrative, and they're trying to control the opinions of people with their false narratives. And yeah, it just kind of makes you wonder, you know, is there something that he could do to put a stop to the censoring?
Well, you know what, Mike and Amy, actually every time Donald speaks, he does something. And I'm sure you guys know that your First Amendment includes a right to a free press, right? Not only is it your right to free speech, it's right to a fair press, right? And every time the president calls out the fake media for being fake and being liars, and we all know that they are, he does something to draw attention to that your First Amendment's being stolen. Your right to a free press has already been hijacked and stolen by this corrupt media. So he does do something every time he's, and I think he's eventually paving the way to go someplace else with these news medias, because it's kind of gotten out of hand. He knows it's out of hand, and I think that's why he beats them up so bad, because they have so much power in this country today.
I agree. What do you? Well, you said it there, like, and this is kind of an issue, but it's kind of like, people also are like, well, when are the chemtrails going to stop? And I'm always like, well, dang, if we're going to start arguing about what's not stopped yet, like this harassment on YouTube, chemtrails, people being, you know, kidnapped and put into the, you know, the trafficking and stuff, I'd probably go with that one first, that, you know, if things are going to stop and get fixed. I'm not so much worried about YouTube.
Yeah, prioritizing. Yeah, I've seen, you know, you see a lot of the sky watchers. Oh, there's a whole movement of sky watchers on YouTube.
And that's fine. I'm not like against that. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
That's not where I would start. Like, that's not the most, yeah, we need to start there.
Right.
If you know,
Exactly.
day one, Trump needed to come in and stop chemtrails. And then
Exactly, yeah.
we'd get to the trafficking stuff. You know, I don't know what's worse. I don't know, you know, I don't really know the end game of the chemtrails anyway. They're doing this, it's making us sick eventually, or whatever. I mean,
Well, a lot of people are actually saying that they're beginning to see the chemtrails, less chemtrails.
dissipate or not be around on certain days of the week.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I think they're covering up, the sun or reflecting it outward or doing this. I don't really know. I don't
it's
really know.
very interesting. It's interesting, but I personally have not delved too deep into that subject um, because it's not on the top of my priority list. Like you said, there's other things that I'm kind of giving my attention to, and but it's definitely interesting.
Yeah. What do you think, Greg?
Uh,
WW.
I've researched chemtrails a good little bit, and I've been aware of them for a while. And geoengineering, it's been declassified that they're doing geoengineering along with HARP. So chemtrails also supposedly work in conjunction with the HARP antennas that they have in different places in the country. The geoengineering part of it is kind of strange because you know what, they don't chemtrail the whole entire planet. They only chemtrail in certain countries, right? So it's not planet wide, and you would think if you're geoengineering, you would be doing something planet wide, right? So I think about that for a minute, but then I also think that part of the composition of these chemtrails is a heavy metal called barium. Barium is also found in your money. They put a strip of barium in your larger denominations of bills, right? A strip of metal called barium. Well, they have barium detectors. They can actually see. So if you have like a huge pile of cash, they can actually detect that, right? Because you've got a huge pile of barium there too. So it's just interesting to me that maybe the whole notion of chemtrails are actually used because if the enemy has a stealth plane and that we can't actually pick up on radar, and just to say they sprayed some quote unquote chemtrails up in the air and a stealth plane flies through it, I wonder if that barium would stick on the plane and allow us to see it.
Oh, wow.
Right. So
Wow.
I'm kind of mixed on what I think chemtrails are and aren't. But what I'm quite sure
Hmm.
of is that none of it's good for us. Breathing any of it is bad for us, period. And we're
Yeah.
spending a huge amount of money on it, and we really don't know what it's about. So any way you cut it, it's not good for us.
I agree.
That's what I think about that.
And I mean, I have done research. I'm not gonna lie. It's like I know the Joint Air Force Naval Base up in Alaska, the one HARP. They got like 20 acres of high-powered antennas lined up in fields, and we know. I mean, and they say like they fire all those up at the same time. They take this beam of energy up to the high ionosphere, and they can bend it around the Earth and then pin it back in by remote, like all by computers and joysticks. So I mean, and we know that's been around. Like in Vietnam, they were seeding the clouds, and the clouds would either scurry away or they can get them to move certain directions or create rain or make rain stop or whatever. I don't know if they got that good with it back then, but they've been doing this a while, and we know, once they say they shut something down, but yet the base is still open, it's never really shut down, and they either locked it in, figured it out. But it's interesting. It definitely is interesting.
It is, but you know what? It's all kind of honestly, it's kind of over my head, and sometimes a lot of this stuff is over my head. So I really do appreciate listening to guys like you talking about it and educating me. But Michael, I just wanted to I'm going to change the subject here a little bit. Since I have this opportunity to hang out with you, and I'm so bummed that I'm not actually beamed into the studio because I've wanted to do that for a long time. So, and I just wanted to thank you for inviting me.
Yes. Now
to
you've done
come
it before,
on.
right? This would have been like your second time because you've done it
Well,
a long time ago.
I've called. Yeah, you're right. Actually,
You
it was
beamed in,
Chris-
yeah.
Yeah, it was Christmas, and I think I was having issues then as well.
You were outside. You were
Yeah,
outside and everything.
That was Christmas. I think it was either Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. But yes, I do remember that. And so eventually we'll get the kinks worked out. But I just wanted to, and I know I'm speaking for everybody in this chat and everybody that watches you. I just wanted to thank you for answering the call. And I just wanted to say you're definitely fulfilling your calling with what you're doing here at the Patriot Hour and the Patriot Tech. And I'm really honestly, I'm honored just to be able to talk with you tonight. And I just thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on here and hang out with you. And we all love you.
Pleasure's mine. Thank you guys. No, I see Ben's in the room. Great show.
Hey Ben.
Yes. No, and this is a limit. We were talking earlier. I was like, man, I can only have 3 people because this software, like he was, Watchful Warrior was saying, he's like, I looked at vMix, it's quite pricey, and I was like, yeah, but it is a lifetime. And I'm not promoting them at all, but it is a lifetime purchase at that amount. But I went with the lesser one, and it can only beam in up to 3 people, or myself and then 2 others. So it's a total of 2. So Ben wasn't going to be able to get in. Plus, it was a little late, but it looks like he's still up.
I think the problem is on my end, obviously, and we'll get it figured out. But I just wanted to thank you for even inviting me.
No, yeah, no.
So
after watching your guys' show last night, I was like, I need to do more of these. So we have fun as well, you know. It can't always be. I mean, it's. Have you guys seen the movie? But this sidetrack again. We'll jump over to here. Have you guys seen the documentary, the Franklin cover-up, the Conspiracy of Silence?
I haven't.
You should check that out. It's on YouTube. No, you can find it on YouTube. There's multiple versions. I mean, not versions, but like really bad quality. So the premise is like in 1992, Discovery Channel hired this film crew, this pretty good investigative film crew to look into a pedophile ring they had heard about down in Nebraska, Nebraska, Boys Town. You know what Boys Town is? Like Father Flanagan. It started back in like World War I. It's where all these orphans were going because they didn't have parents, and it's still there. It's called Boys Town, and it's in Omaha, Nebraska, or Nebraska, Omaha, whatever. And anyway, I watched this years and years ago, and it blew my mind. So I went back and watched it, and man, it's still a lot to do with what's going on today with all these people coming out on Epstein. It gets into the psyche of how bad it really is, you guys, and how this guy that is in that documentary, like his name's John DeCamp. He was a Vietnam veteran, highly decorated, a real go-getter in this documentary, and that's what makes me remember this documentary is how much he had passion to shut this down. Well, then I ended up watching some interviews the other night of him. Must have been years after, and you can see he was a broken man. He was headhunting this thing, but then he saw how high it went and how nobody was willing to do the right thing. Like grand juries are scary. Like he breaks it down that grand juries can be a really good thing or they can be really bad because grand juries are secret. They're impaneled secretly, and all the people that are involved. Now, all the people that they pick are normal people, and I believe every one of them to be a good patriot and want to do the right thing. But he breaks it down that whoever is in charge of the grand jury can decide what information the people get. So, for example, one of these victims had said, like, you know, this politician touched me and this politician touched me, you know, and he wasn't giving names. They were giving, like, I've been to the White House, and this is back in the early 90s. Like, well, if you've been to the White House, draw it. And they were able to draw all these different doors and floors and maps. The internet wasn't really around back then. These are small kids. They drew them to a T, and they had been to the White House. They had been taken in there. And there's all these other crazy stories to go along with this. But basically, this one kid said, you know, in this documentary, he's like, well, they flew me to this one party, and like, did you fly directly? And this was like a taped interview going on for the courts, you know, it was like a taped, you know, deposition. And the kid was like, well, no, it wasn't a direct flight. We flew from Chicago to like Texas, and then from Texas, we went on to there. And he goes, were you alone? He's like, no, I was with this other girl that was like a kidnapped victim too. And So they had that. All they needed to do is go to the airports and check records. They didn't do that. And then they never showed that tape to the grand jury. So they're like, well, they're accusing this politician of this. And then the people, they only get the information given to them. So you have to make up your whole case based on the information in these grand juries that you have. You can't say, well, how come he's accusing him? Is there any proof? And they'll be like, what you got in front of you is what we got. And then you read it all and you look at all that information. They held a whole bunch of stuff back so these people would come to the conclusion that these kids were lying. So all these kids came out, and one of them they horned in on and said they're going to give him 25 years. So the federal government flipped it. All the other kids got scared, and then they all like started not talking because they were covering it up. It's like really, really bad stuff, folks. I mean, it just...
It chills you to the bone, doesn't it?
Well, and this guy in this documentary, 93, you know, they're telling him like, well, this thing never aired, by the way. Like the Discovery Channel went to go look at this little thing in this one little state, and it led all the way back to the White House. And then when they were done, Discovery Channel paid them all off. Like, how much do we owe you? $500,000, right? Gave them the money, took the documentary, put it on a shelf, and it's never aired to this day. Because that was the other part of the cover-up. They weren't going to let this thing air. So it's never been aired, but it's got out, and it's like out on YouTube and other sources, of course. It's, you know, but you guys should check that out. And
okay, and that is called Conspiracy of Science?
Silence. Like the Franklin cover-up, Conspiracy of Silence.
Okay.
All right. And then there's this kid in there, Paul Boshi. He also talks about Bohemian Grove. He drives people there. Like in this documentary, they go to this house that he was kept in, and this documentary crew take him back there. He hadn't been back there since he left, and he's like, well, underneath this part of the house here, there was like a whole thing underneath the house in the crawl space. They pull apart this wood, and boom, there's holes. I mean, they're like, whoa. And then they go in there with the camera crew, and there's all these little carvings in the wood that was underneath this house. So they're like, this has to be true. How would this kid know that? This random house drove us here, says there's this under the house. We go under there. There's freaking things carved in the wood from kids being in there so long.
Wow.
There's also this other one called Why Couldn't Johnny Come Home? And they were taken by the same kind of group. And this kid like ends up coming home years later, just knocks on the door at his mom's one day, and she was baffled. And she's like, let me call the cops. I've been looking for you for 15 years, literally. I mean, the cops were involved. There was a big thing. He got taken one morning delivering papers. He came home, and he's like, no, Mom, you can't do that. He wouldn't let her call the cops, and he hung out for about an hour, but then he left and went back. Like, everyone's like, well, that's weird. They had... the way they do this, you guys, is they get these kids young. They make you do things over time that you start feeling guilty. You know, they said they make you drug dealers. They eventually, you know, if you're trusted enough at 16, 17, they'll give you the keys to the car, and you're driving around bringing kids back. That's what this one Paul, he said he never got sold off because he did things eventually for them that they liked, and they wanted to keep him around. And eventually he was like combing the high school areas at that boys town, getting people away from there, and, you know, visiting with them 2-3 times, offering them drugs, hanging out with them at the local pool hall. And then on the 3rd or 4th time, they'd give them enough drugs to knock them out, drive them back there, and then they'd be kidnapped and gone. And he did this. So then you start feeling like, well, I'm not a victim anymore. I'm actually doing this stuff. And, you know, so when this kid went home and knocked on the door 15 years later, just to let his mom know he was alive, and she was wanting to call the cops and just hold on to him and never, you know, and you don't need to go back. He's like, no, because they've threatened to kill family. We'll come kill your family if you ever, you know. I don't know. You can only imagine at 7, 6 years old when they first get you, the things they put you through to shock you. You know, they might put a gun in your hand and their hands over your hand and pull a trigger and kill somebody, and then like, oh, look what you did, and put that gun into a baggie and say, look what we got. You know, you killed somebody. And then you're 6 years old and you're thinking, oh my God. And you're never, they do shock things to you. This is what I'm, you know, you kind of discover. So it's a vast, vast system, you guys.
So it's mind control.
That's mind control right there. Yes.
And the technology that they have, it's like sci-fi movies. And I don't know if you're familiar at all with targeted individuals in the targeted community. I've made a couple friends that are targeted individuals, and they experience a lot of crazy stuff. And the mind control is a part of it. And so, I'm learning. I've learned more and more about the mind control and how it works, and just how deep. It's like a very, very, very deep rabbit hole. But this stuff is really happening, and it's scary. It's very scary.
What is your thoughts on have you seen any of them documentaries or anything down those lines there, Greg? Okay, I think he might have froze up a little bit.
Greg.
I'm taking him down to mobile. All right, we'll see if he pops back in.
While you're fixing Greg, Fluid Port Art by Greg is in the house.
Ooh, what's up, buddy?
What's up, Fluid? And he wanted me to let you know that his wife's father, his father-in-law, he's okay. I guess he had an accident earlier, which was pretty bad, but he says here that Lisa's dad is all stitched up, his eye is fine, and he wanted me to let you know that. So we're glad to hear that, Greg.
Yes. Prayers, we've been praying, we'll pray again. Everybody send some prayers. We wanted to make sure his eye wasn't completely damaged. I got some pictures. It looked pretty bad. So we hope for a speedy recovery.
Yeah, for sure. And so there's some names in here that I'm not familiar with. So want to shout out to, we've got Ice Princess Khan. Welcome, Ice Princess. And we've got Fred Haston, Jared Rendon, Error, somebody by the name of Error. That's an interesting name. And Dean Kohler, Fred, I think I said Fred already. Jay Berwick. Jay's been around for a while. Hey, Jay. Monica Beach. Awake and Aware. Thank you guys for joining us tonight.
Yes. All right.
And my mom is in the house. Susie Q is in the house. She was on the show with us last night on Watchful Warriors show, and we had a blast.
Yes, I saw your mom. I had put Amy's mom's got it going on. You know, Amy's mom's got it going on. It was funny, but nobody
Aussie
saw
Dog,
it.
what's up? There's Aussie Dog. He's a trip. Aussie Dog, I didn't forget. No worries. Freedom Fest 2020.
Yes.
He's a partier.
So yeah, I don't know who's all going to be able to make it. We haven't really made it official, but everyone's welcome. It's open to the public. It's free. I mean, there's limited, if you want to camp out, there'll be some limited camping. We're going to try to have some stuff arranged. It'll be a 2-night thing. Like, you know, the event's actually on Saturday. There's a motorcycle ride. And then there's the flag retirement on Saturday. But we can definitely have some good fun on Friday night with, I'm going to get a band provided out there for Friday night. So there's music, or at least a DJ, so we can go request stuff, whatever. And then...
So what Michael's talking about, you guys, and you probably are aware if you've been hanging out with us. If you've been hanging out with us for a while, we've been talking about doing something like this for a long time. We've been talking about getting together, everybody getting together, hanging out, meeting in person, and because we've made some really great connections in this family of patriots. And so, Michael, probably what you'll have to do, you'll probably have to have like a limit. you'll probably have to have like, it'll be like a first come, first serve. You might have to figure out exactly how many people can come or fit
Why
there.
do you think you think it'll get that big?
I think that, yeah, honey, I think it'll get that big.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's a positive thing for, you know.
It's a positive thing, but I think you might have to have like, hey, this is how many spots we have available.
Well,
And,
what I'm saying is, if anyone wants to come, you're more than welcome to.
Mhm.
But, you know, there's hotels, is limited camping on the Legion
Yeah.
site. We have acres and stuff, but there's lots of RVs already. Like, I don't know. I should have had that footage. Well, you guys watched the live stream, so you probably saw something, right? You
Yeah,
probably
I saw you guys. It
Yeah.
looked like a really good spacious area.
Yeah, yeah.
And so there's a lot of details to work out, but it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome.
And this will be the first annual, and then we'll keep going. If we outgrow this area, I already have other spots in mind in the area that can hold tens of thousands, you know, so, but we just figured, you know.
It'll be an amazing event, no doubt.
I see Greg's back here. Watchful Warrior is in the house.
Welcome back, Greg. Watchful Warrior.
Thank you, Amy. You know how the internet is. Too many patriots get together, and they got to start getting kicked.
That's right. They got
Oh, Grillin's in the house. Grillin's awesome.
So Mike, you were talking about Freedom Fest, right? A little bit.
Yeah, we were just talking about Freedom Fest a little bit.
Right on. That sounds like a good time.
What you're Georgia, right? You're not too. I just came through there last winter, coming down to Florida. Yeah. I actually hit the snow there. It snowed there. Was it last year or the year before? It was a year before.
Oh, it's probably the year before. And I live down in Macon, so it usually does not snow here where I'm at. I'm like mid-state. It's usually northern Georgia that will get the snow.
Ain't there a movie called Macon County?
Oh yeah.
Who's in that? Clint Eastwood or no? I can't remember.
Clint Walker.
Clint, yeah.
Old time. Yeah, Macon's known for a lot of stuff like that. You know, Greg Allman and the Allman Brothers. They're from here. B.B. King is from here. There's a lot of soul musicians in Macon. So they push, you know, they're having kind of like a downtown revival, you know, trying to get some more people to participate. Yeah. So they're doing really a really nice job with it, you know, bringing back soul food and, you know, soul music and getting people more active, you know, trying to get the chamber involved and Chamber of Commerce and stuff. So they're actually really trying hard to do things. So I applaud them.
Everyone's like, Woodstock big? And they must just be here in the, I don't know.
Yes.
Just with the people in the room right now, we got like 158 I'm seeing. Would you guys, how many people out of 158 right here, right now would come to something like that, or flag retirement ceremony? You know, it's the proper way to get rid of flags, folks, all right? It's destroying flags that have been flying all year or a couple of years. They're worn, they're torn. The military, as Greg would know, we have a special way, because typically on a base, if you have a worn and torn flag and you're going to do a retirement, it's one flag you have in your possession. You have to rip away the blue from the flag. There's a procedure. But when you do it like we do for the Legion, you have thousands of flags. We don't have to get that technical. It's still the government protocol for the civilians to bury these. But we do a 21 gun salute. The Boy Scouts help, all that. You guys saw it if you watched it. But I don't know how many people. And other than that, it's not just, that's going on. Those are events. There's like a motorcycle ride that takes off that day. I think it took off at 10 o'clock, or no. Yeah, they took off at 10 a.m. and they got back at like 1, and then that ceremony happened. Or no, we did the ceremony at 10, then they left, and then they got back at like 1 or 2. And then there was, you know, food, a band, all this fun stuff on Saturday afternoon. But I'm just asking or thinking, you know, how many people would actually come to something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know who's in the area. I know people probably from Ohio, Michigan. They have a little bit better shot. This is next year in August, folks. Sometime in August of 2020. It'd be several months before the election, which would be kind of cool. Be a bunch of us patriots.
Jonna Berlin. I think I'm probably saying her last name wrong, but she's one of our longtime Patriot sisters, and I know she's donated to the Patriot Hour, and so Jonna says she'll be there, so that would be awesome to be able to meet her.
Oh yeah, I know her. It's Jonna and Jeff Brulin. Yes.
She said, count me in.
Well, I'd love. This is gonna be awesome.
So yeah, we've got about a year. It'll be just about a year away, right? So
yeah, less than a year. Aussie dog said he'd fly over, and if I'm not mistaken, he's in Australia.
Wow, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. So it looks like there's a lot of people that we've got quite a few ones. People were typing one if they would come. So yeah, so it'll be about a year from now, 2020, but we all know a year flies by, so.
Yes.
Joe said he'll be there. Awesome,
Heck yeah.
Joe.
Pencil me in.
Pencil me in.
Yep. I think Friday night, like when Fluid Pour came in, we all just, we had brought bocce ball down. I don't know if you guys know what that is, and we were out in that whole field. Well, it's all cut grass or whatever. We're out there playing that, drinking, had a few drinks, played some bocce ball, played some bags on Saturday.
So what is bocce ball?
It's real simple. It's one of the oldest games in the world. You have like a little white Plano ball, or it's called the jack, and you throw that, and then you have these balls that are a little bigger, that are heavy, and you throw them. Like normally they're made out of clay or maybe wood back in the day. I don't know. And you just throw them. It's like, I would throw one, and if I'm closest, I got a point. And then somebody else would throw. You can hit my ball and knock it out of the way and get closer to that little white ball. So you're trying to go after this white ball and get really close to it or touch it. You don't get any more points for touching it, but it's just that simple. And you don't have to, it's not real hard to think, but you're walking around playing this game. And we got ones that are LED and they light up in the dark. So if it gets dark, you can keep playing. And they light up like big time. LED.
Sweet. So it'll be a flag retirement ceremony and then a big old party.
Yeah, there's a party. Basically, Saturday is the party, like the retirement ceremony for the flags. That's like a half hour, maybe a 45-minute ceremony. And then the riders leave. All the riders, anyone that actually wants to be involved in the ride, you can do that. You ride your motorcycle down if you're in the area, I guess, like Michigan, Ohio, Illinois. I don't know. There are tickets involved, because it goes for a cause. I'm not sure of the cause yet this year. We'll get all those details, folks. We will definitely get all those details. So this is something that's been going on at our Legion for a long time. We figured we will try to add our Patriots Freedom Fest, in conjunction with it a little bit for the first year or two. If we outgrow this, then we move on. They keep doing their thing. Maybe they move with us, to the new location if it gets that big.
So yeah, stay tuned for more details on that. Jesse James, what's up, buddy? Jesse James in the house. He said we do horseshoes in the South. Yes, I used to play horseshoes.
We got horseshoes set up there too. There's horseshoes. We also do bags, bocce ball. We just, tons of things. It's kid friendly. People want to bring the family. Some of you guys can camp out if you have an RV. You can. I think we're limited. We're limited on plugging in with the RVs. I mean, there's already several Legion members that bring out RVs the night before. So there's a bonfire as well. And then we have a huge pavilion. Sometimes later in the evening too, after we, if we didn't have the band out there, Ben and some of the other guys, they get out there, start, playing their guitar, picking and singing, and it's good stuff.
That's what I was going to say. Okay, so does Ben play guitar?
Yes.
Ben!
Plays a couple instruments. So
that would be awesome. I would so enjoy that.
I just do the piano a little bit, but
Michael!
Not a
You
lot.
play the piano. Dang. Talented.
But
So
no, Ben's
talented.
good.
Ben, that's awesome.
Thumper, lawn darts. Somebody put lawn darts.
Yes.
Lawn darts.
Okay. Well, now Grillin, he's been hanging out with us for a long time, and he is, gosh, I think he's a musician. Put it that way. I can't remember. I think he said for 30 years, Grillin. I might be wrong, but I think he said that he played with lots of different, like, big time bands for like 30 years. Grillin, am I wrong or am I right? I'll wait for his comment. Oh, Joe said he wants to have some drunk karaoke. That would be fun.
Yes. Oh well, that was Friday night when Fluid Pour was in. So I don't know if I could say this or not. I don't know if Woodman would get mad. I guess nobody knows. But Woodman. So we had Woodman come down. Ben was there. Well, of course, right? We're all there. We're hanging out with Fluid Pour, and there's a drawing that night. It's a drawing that I brought into the Legion years ago. I had to fight with the older crowd to bring this new game in that was going to be good. It's going to be good for the Legion. You guys are going to draw a crowd. So anyway, we're outside playing bocce and drinking, and I was like, oh, it's almost 7 o'clock. So we run back in, and Woodman ended up winning that damn thing. It was $1,800, $1,850 or something. So he won a couple, sorry to give out the number, Woodman, but man, we love you. But he won. So he won. That was awesome. And then we went right back outside and kept playing, and Woodman was just baffled. But he's like, oh, shit.
Sweet.
So,
Well, Grillin answered my question. He said he played for 30 plus years with local big time. And so that's pretty cool. And sometimes local big time is better than big time.
oh,
Big
yeah.
time.
Yeah. If you're in the right city and you're like one of the bigger bands in the area, you're going to stay busy.
Oh, yeah, for
You know.
sure.
So we know how that goes.
Awesome. And well, Jonna, she said, I have a friend who's a songwriter from Nashville, huge name. I might could get her to come. Oh, that's cool, Jonna.
That would be awesome.
Let me
I wonder who that is.
hold on. What's this? I have a friend who's a songwriter from Nashville. Huge name. Ooh, that'd be very awesome.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, Joe. Patreon got shut down on me like 6 or 7 months ago, and I never did anything over there. We had talked about going live over there. Ben and I looked into it. It was crazy, and then you couldn't post a video over like 4 megabytes. So a 20-minute video with this vMix software, I'd go to post it, and it was like, you have to trim it down. And then I was only able to get like the intro. That was all that would fit. And I was like, this is weird. So I didn't ever do anything at Patreon. I would link a video to YouTube or something once in a while. So, and it got shut down. It's like, your page is under review, it's been under review, and it was just something.
Oh, Fred Haston. He said music search Greta Van Fleet. Fred, that is like my favorite band. Back in the day when you were in high school and you used to listen to a CD over and over and over and over again, that is what I do with my Greta Van Fleet. I have worn out both of my Greta Van Fleet albums. I'm waiting for them to come out with a new one. And a lot of people say they sound like Led Zeppelin. And I say, well, it's about dang time someone sounded like Led Zeppelin. Better than Led Zeppelin, because Led Zeppelin is a Satanist. But we won't go down that rabbit hole. But
He lived in like Aleister Crowley's house or something.
I'm a total fan, total Greta Van Fleet fan right here.
Y'all got some sexy voices, deep, manly Michael, and fine, feminine sounding guest. Are y'all in love?
Yes, we are in love.
Don't lie to us.
We're in
Smith,
love with the Patriots.
Smith and Wilson instead of Smith and Wesson.
Somebody made a great comment. A great comment last night in my chat. They said, Patriots. They said Patriots are always sexier. I'm like, yes, that's
Oh,
like the
yeah.
best comment of the night. It's funny.
I seen a guy come in the room one time. His name was Harley, and then it was middle name A, and then it was Davidson. So it was Hardley A. Davidson.
It's clever. Some of these people's names are just very clever. Roots Magoo is in the house. Roots Magoo is my buddy. I love Roots Magoo.
Do you guys know any?
Roots.
A good friend.
Why doesn't Trump wear glasses?
Why is that?
Because he's already got 20/20.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he does.
That's good.
So what do you guys think? Do you guys think that there is a legitimate or like a real chance that he could not win, or do you think we've got it in the bag?
Geez. Amy, if you look at all of the Democrats that they're running right now, I don't see any one of them beating them. They say that Biden's got the lead, and then they say Warren and Bernie are in like tight for second. I don't see any of those cats beating Donald, not one. And so I hate this. I would never like to say that we've got it in the bag, because that makes people lazy and complacent and not go out and vote.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think like that. You know what I mean? Because it's never over until it's over, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't see any of those cats beating Donald, not one. What do you think?
I don't think they do either, because I was saying this the other day in the video. I think Trump ruined the election process forever here on out, because he came in kind of so real and talking about the issues that are at hand and what he's going to fix. And it was just you just believed him. The way he said it, I believed him. I mean, and that's all we've ever had with any politician is a talk. Obama did it, hope and change. But the reason we got Trump in 2016 was really because of Obama for 8 years. People can say there's this racist people came out of the woods to vote for Trump. Well, that's not the case, because if Obama would have won in 2008, those racist people would have came out of the woods to vote, so to say, in 2012. They wouldn't have let somebody win twice, if that existed in this country. So the racism thing doesn't make sense, because he won twice. It just doesn't. And then they really pulled together to and they were saying that to vote for Trump was racist, but not voting for Hillary, she was a woman. She wasn't a black woman, so it didn't even make sense anyway. But anyway,
Yeah.
he destroyed their illusion of you could see it so clear now that all of 26 Democrats up on stage, they don't really stand for anything. It's an act. They latch on to things that are issues, or what they try to create an issue, and you can just see it. They don't really live by it. They don't, kind of like Trump, the way he goes after like talking about the border, or we're going to actually build this, or we're going to do that. It just seems legit, where they're trying to get everyone into the climate change thing so they can blame us more, get the whole next generation of, we need your money to fix the weather, or however, it's just and they're struggling. So they're now calling like for Michelle Obama to come in and run. It's like, what? You guys got 26 people. A slot machine can only hold so many quarters. You can only hold so many damn quarters.
And my mom made a good point, and she said, just look at the size of the Trump rallies, and what does that tell you? And of course, like Greg said, we can't become complacent to where we just stay at home and don't vote. We all know that.
Right.
But yeah, the rallies really do speak volumes.
Well, Q even said that we outnumber them significantly, I think was the word he used. I can't remember exactly when he said it. It was earlier this year. But he said that we actually outnumber them significantly. So the illusion that the left is some type of a big organization, I think it's a fallacy. I think it's fake. I think the media makes you think that they're bigger than what they are, just like they want you to think Trump is smaller than what he is, right?
Exactly.
But that's what we say. we outnumber them significantly. So there's that. And if you look at the rallies, like you said, I mean, that's just more proof of the pudding right there.
Yeah, that makes sense. We were all talking earlier about social media or YouTube or, you know, like you said, the problem hasn't gotten any better with the suppression of conservatives versus leftists kind of, you know, not getting shut down. And Woodman had asked me that one day. He was really, you know, a couple months back, maybe 4 months back, he was like, man, when is the media? I'm just wondering, there's so much great stuff coming out over here, over there, but when is the media going to be on board, Mike? When is CNN really going to start just giving us, you know, lining up with what's going on? I was like, hey, probably never. Don't expect it out of everybody. I don't know. You know, we always thought CNN, Clinton News Network, is it really owned and operated by them? If so, then don't ever expect, you know, I think when things were a little bit more, see, a lot of people think, okay, well, why don't the Illuminati just rig all the elections so they always get their person in? Well, how is Trump in? How are we even in this? Well, because there's rules to the game. All right, and it's called free will. They have to manipulate. They can't just outright, and they don't really want to do that. There are too many good people here and there spread out. Not everyone's corrupt, so you have to play within this system. So that John DeCamp said it best. You know, to run a whole state, to run a whole operation of scheme, you don't have to control it all. That's the biggest thing for people to understand. It's called, you know, compartmentalization. You only need like 3 facets. Like if you can control, you know, the media, if a couple people, if you can control, you know, like we talked about that grand jury, you know, you can pick all the normal people from the city or whoever to come in, and these are all people that aren't complicit, and then you only give them bullcrap information. Okay, you know, you go in and you're like, this guy, they're claiming that, you know, he raped this woman. And here's all the evidence we have. And all they do is give bullcrap, a little bit, a fraction. And then these people can't come to a conclusion that this happened. They're going to come back with the answer that you want. So it all looks good. And I think this vast system has it set up all along the way at every little, don't worry, we got our judge in place as a last case scenario. And they got the blackmail on the guy, you know, they got the dirt on him. So he's working with them. This is how this system works. It's a vast system of blackmail. What was Jeffrey Epstein doing? Why was his whole island wired up with a personal server? You're a network guy like me, a watchful warrior. You know, you went on to his island, no matter what you sent or received from your cell phone, you know, sending out, coming in, it was like it was wire sharking everything. So why would, you know, just as a normal guy, why would he want all that information? It just seems to go so much deeper that he was working for, you know, there's somebody behind the veil that was setting him up with you know, with all this stuff, unless he was just that interested. Like why him personally would want so much blackmail on every single person that he ever came in contact with. I mean, I can see paranoia a little bit, but it just seems a little bit more above him. He was the limelight guy. He hosted these parties, but you know, everyone that would come is like, I'm recording everything you do, everything you send. Yeah, I mean, I think even that picture that was taken at you know, of his security camera system with the 12 pages of little clips on there, that Marina, who took the picture, was it Marina Barakovich or one of the other slaves or something? They took that photo. He would have known that they took it. He would have known that they took that photo because he would have had it instantly on his server. So, you know what I'm talking about? Ain't that weird to have your whole own? I mean, it was like.
What do you think, Greg?
You just kind of got blocked out there for a minute, I think.
Mr. X, hello. Mr. X is saying hi.
Who's Mr. X? Let me see. Oh, I see. All right, Mr.
About Jeffrey Epstein and his whole island being networked up.
Yeah, he had his whole island servered. Like, you know, he captured everything, incoming, outcoming, SMS, anything. It was like if you got to his island and connected, he was in your phone 100%. Contacts, anything that you had in there was probably, you know, taken. And it just seems a little odd for, I can understand security cameras and stuff, but capturing everybody's information, it just seems he was working for somebody. There's somebody behind the veil a little bit bigger than him.
I agree. I think there was. I think he was tied in with other people. I've heard that comment made too. J. Edgar Hoover was notorious for putting people in compromising positions and getting blackmail on them. Just saying. That's been an old FBI trick forever and a day.
Exploit the weaknesses, right? Exploit somebody's weakness. Dangle a stake out in front of them, or if they like kids, you dangle. You get them in the right position, and that's how it works. That's how it works, folks. Right. That's the glue that holds this whole thing together.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Wow. So, Susie Q, she says that, I'm reading her comment. She says the deep state and the left are on their third R. The first was Russia. The second was racism. And now the third is recession. But she says they will fail because God has the plan. And that's very true. Very true. First, they started with the racism, or
Amen
yes.
to that.
Wait, no, I'm getting my R's mixed up. The first was Russia, and that got knocked out of the water. That got blown out of the water. So then they moved on to the racism, and we all know Trump's not a racist. Anyone with a half a brain can figure out that the man is not a racist. And now they are talking about or trying to use a scare tactic and scaring people into thinking that we are going to be going into a recession, which is odd because
Russia race recession. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Don't we have like the best unemployment rates in history for everyone right now?
Yeah, I believe so, but
absolutely.
What you thinking, Greg?
No, I don't think the Dems have got anything, and I think they have to fabricate stories for the next, till the election's through to try to discredit Trump. That's all they. That's all they got. That's all they can do. So they're going to try every dirty trick in the book, and it's just not going to work because we're awake. We're awoken to what they're doing. So.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I think I missed a few minutes of the show when it first got started, but does everybody know who Greg is? Watchful Warrior, and about his channel?
Yeah, everybody in here, make sure you get over to Watchful Warrior. I'll put a...
Thank you.
Yeah, one of our mods could put a link to his channel. I would do it, but I'm not able to do it right now for some reason. But yeah, Watchful Warrior, he's got an awesome channel. And so him and I are actually going to start a show coming up.
Do you have a Greg? Do you have a volume on your mic?
Actually, no, I don't. Do I need to turn it up?
It sounds, well, I just know it was louder. It sounded really good on your show last night. Maybe it's just the fact. Talk now.
Right. Let me see what I can do, sir.
No, I mean, it's not horrible. I think it just got a little better when you moved it. But it just seemed really good and loud, and you're, I don't know.
Well, I wanted to personally invite everybody here in the chat over to Patriot Lounge.
Yes.
Which is a channel that Greg and I are going to be doing together. Greg, who's Watchful Warrior. And I wanted to invite everyone over we're going to be launching that in a matter of days. So make sure you go to Patriot Lounge and subscribe, and keep your eye out for when we go live. So what we're going to do is just create a fun, relaxed atmosphere. And what we really want to do is give the Patriots a voice. So we're going to have a live call-in show. And any of you Patriots, if you want to call up and just tell us what's on your mind, you're welcome to call in. And also, if you have a channel that you're wanting to grow, you can call in and tell us about your channel, and we will help to get your channel growing. And we really want to try to connect the Patriot community, because as a lot of you guys know, I'm a moderator for the Patriot Hour, and recently started moderating for some other channels. And what I'm seeing is a lot of like different groups of Patriots in these different chats that are not connected with each other. And so I just think it would be cool to, like unite the Patriot community by having a place where everyone can come together and learn about all the other channels that are out there, because YouTube is kind of like a buffet. There's like so many options. There's like so many flavors, and there's really something for everybody. And so
I wasn't subscribed to the Patriot Hour. That's funny.
oh, nice.
I just subbed. I wonder, or American Joe, but I'm realizing this is my backup channel. I haven't been in here in 6 months, so I wasn't subscribed to any of you, Watchful Warrior, Amy, or anything. So I just did it all. But sorry.
Yeah. So
Great.
And my personal channel, which is just Amy the Mod, if you were to go over there or click on me.
We are right now.
I'm not really doing too much on my channel at this point, because I'm focusing more attention onto getting the Patriot Lounge up and going with Greg. But I really would like to hit 1K so I could at least go live again on my phone, because I used to have some killer parties, man.
Is it just 1,000 now to go?
Yeah. So I don't know what I'm at. I think I'm at like 740 something. So I used to do my little live streams, and it was fun. We always had a really good time. Joe Alla, he said the vape channel. Yeah.
Yeah, the vaping hour.
Vaping hour. So that's kind of like a little personal goal that I have for my channel, is I would just like to be able to go live again so I can vape for everybody, because
the vaping hour. That was funny. I was there for one of those.
Yes, you were there for the McDonald's live.
The fries under the seat.
Nasty.
The McNasty. The McNasty.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And you know,
Good
Michael,
times. Good
I think
times. But anyway, we would love to see everybody over there, and it's going to be a good time.
Hold on, Greg was talking. What were you saying, buddy?
Oh no, it's okay. I didn't want to cut out Amy. She was doing her thing. Go ahead, Amy.
Greg's awesome.
Yes, he is.
He's really become one of my best friends. He's so supportive. He lets me talk over him, and he's just really a tolerant guy. He's got to be if he's working with me, right?
Oh yeah.
So go ahead, Greg. Greg is what you will discover as you get to know Greg, Watchful Warrior. He is a teacher, and I don't know if he actually calls himself that, but that is what I've discovered about him as I've grown to know him. He's a teacher. He is I don't know if there's anything that he does not know about. Like, he's just a wealth of information.
Well,
so
that's a compliment. That's a compliment. That's a huge compliment. Thank you, Miss Amy. I appreciate you. And I like having such a good student. You're a fantastic student, because there's always something Miss Amy wants to know about, and I just happen to seem, that I happen to know about that particular topic. But it's cool.
Well,
That's what I like. I like sharing my knowledge with people on different things, and really like for me, Mike, like my whole thing. I really believe in survival, and I really believe that people need to be prepped up. I really do believe that we all have a big fight coming, and I think that we, the Patriots, need to be able to absorb a couple of hits without getting taken out, and that's why I want people to, train up, prep up, and be squared away, because we can't have all of our Patriots wiped out in the first wave. You need to be able to absorb some damage. So
Yes.
that's why I'm big into the survival thing. I want people to be squared away. I want them to really put their effort into it. So that's really one of the things I focus on my channel is gear, technology, and tools and training of like wilderness, bushcraft, survival, that kind of stuff, but also tools. And I've only recently, since I came back to YouTube earlier this year, started doing more political kind of things per se. In fact, Mike, here's the story. I actually came back to YouTube to find out about Q, and your chat is the first place that I went because I did not know what a live stream was. It was a new thing to me. So that, in fact, is where I met Amy, Ellie, Simone, and Daniel, which are all friends of mine now, and a whole bunch of other people. So I actually have you to thank for that. Plus, I got a whole bunch of knowledge on Q. Um, Again, I have you to thank for that. So thank
Wow.
you.
Thank you. Wow, that's awesome. I keep hearing that. Lots of people have made good friends and other patriots met on the channel. That's enough alone, like just to bring people together and then different, aspects start. You guys are doing other shows and got things going on. That's just awesome. So I would love to eventually come into the Patriot Lounge as well. Once you guys get that up and going, I wouldn't
hmm
mind coming in here and there and stopping by, hanging out,
Absolutely, Mike.
lounging.
well, you
Fantastic.
better.
We'd love to have you
Heck yeah.
for sure.
I'm gonna get one
We're
more
gonna have a good
beer.
time, Mike. And
I'm gonna let you guys talk for a few minutes. So I'm gonna put Watchful Warrior up here on the screen.
Awesome.
You guys go ahead and have at it for a few minutes. I'll be back. I'll be listening on my phone though.
All right.
okay. Well, Miss Amy, the other night you and I were talking, and I think we were on another person's show, and I don't know if I ever really kind of explained to you like the vision of what I thought the Patriot Lounge was going to be like. But I think the other night you kind of got a little bit of what my vision was, and I don't know if people really know much about the history of the Revolutionary War and where those patriots, real patriots, came from. Well, they were found in a place, they used to meet in a place called the Green Dragon Inn, and that's where Paul Revere had his famous ride from. And so when I think of the Patriot Lounge, I kind of think immediately, the Green Dragon Inn, as like a meeting place for patriots to, discuss and talk and stay informed. And some people also don't know this, but Tun Tavern is where the Marine Corps was actually born. That's in Philadelphia. Um, and that's again, where they went to recruit, the very hardest people they could find to go and fight the British. So a lot of these things, these early patriots, stem from lounges and bars and places like what we're trying to create here on the internet.
Right. I thought that was really
Miss Amy.
awesome that you brought that up the other day, Watchful. Um, Patriot Lounge is just going to be a laid back place where we can all get together and we don't have to talk about politics all the time. One thing that I would like to create there is like a support group for each other. So I know that we're all different, we're all different, but there's one thing that we all share in common, and that is just that we all struggle. Um, Life isn't always roses. And so I know personally I found a lot of comfort when I came into the community, when I came to the Patriot Hour and had the chance to really start to get to know the Patriots. Um, it was really comforting to know that there's like-minded people out there, and that everybody's got each other's backs, and it was just something that I really needed in my life personally. I don't know if Michael really realizes how much it really meant to me. I didn't know it at the time how much I needed it, but I looking back, I realize it now that it was something that I really needed, because just the acceptance that I have found um, in the Patriot community, and it's just been an amazing experience. What do you think, Greg?
Oh, I agree. It's like I told Mike earlier. My best friends that I've ever had on the internet, I met right here in his Patriot, in the Patriot Hour. So I couldn't agree more. And you and I both live in very remote places. Like I don't ever see people here where I live. The only time I see people is when I choose to go see them, which is never. you know. So I'm more than happy with my internet friends living out here in the middle of the brush. Um, but you and I also talked about that too, was isolationism and depression, and how those things affect um, the core of our society. Do you remember when we were talking about that the other day?
Yes, I do. You had read a really good article to me, and we discussed it, and it had a lot of truth in it, and I think it's very true. I know, at least for myself, it's very easy to live an isolated life, and it's kind of like, you get to the point where you're like, oh, people, um, trying to avoid social situations and things like that. Um, awesome, Grillin. Grillin said, I hear you. This place has helped me stay calm and not lose my cool. Yes, that's awesome, Grillin. So a lot of you guys have experienced the same thing. David Woodruff says, fellowship guided by the good Lord brought us together. Amen.
Absolutely. Amen on that.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Amen.
Cheers and amen.
Cheers.
Welcome back, Michael.
Thank you. Thank you. I actually unplugged the phone for like 2 seconds, so I was like cut out of the computer room here, and I was hearing talking. I was like, what? And then it was just you talking, so I ran back in and plugged it back in. So I don't know how that worked out.
Yeah, we were just having a good discussion. Very good discussion.
Good.
And a lot of people feel the same way in the chat. They just feel like this is what we needed. This is what we needed as Americans. It's the Great Awakening, and we've all. I mean, I haven't been awake too long. I know a lot of you guys have been awake for years, but it's just we needed a place where we could all get together and connect and support each other. And so I was talking about how I wanted the Patriot Lounge to really be somewhere where we could support each other. And honestly, we're going to have an open phone line. And if anybody wants to call in at any point in time, when we're live, if they're having a problem, if they need support, if they need prayer, if they need me to make them laugh, I will do whatever I have to do. We're just gonna, we'll see where it goes. I'm excited to get this going, and to be able to look back, Lord willing, a year from now and see how we've developed, because truly it's going to have to happen organically and develop organically. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Patriot Lounge evolves into. So
I agree. I got a couple letters here. I don't know if anyone of these people are in the room. They're probably not. But so let's see here. All right, it's not too bad. Pretty short and sweet. Dear Michael, thank you for your patriotic and spiritual work for the Lord and America. May God bless you abundantly. In his mighty name, Jesus Christ, and the Son of the loving God, faithfully. Valerie Wapplehorst. William and Valerie Wapplehorst.
Amen.
Manchester, New Jersey. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much. All right, so
Very
there's
nice.
that. I just got a couple here. I went to the P.O. box today. This one's from Houston, Texas. It's a little card with a heart on it. Very cool.
Aw.
Patriots in my city whom I could contact for services, etc. I think a network would be especially important if anything breaks loose. Ooh, thanks again. Okay, I see she started over here. Dear Patriot, thank you for all the good work you do keeping Patriots informed. I live in Houston, Texas, and I am trying to surround myself with patriots.
Awesome.
Good people, hard workers, dentists. That's kind of crazy. I'm writing to ask if you have knowledge of patriots in my city. Okay, that's what she was saying. So, okay, we'll I'll keep an eye out for patriots from Houston, and then we'll get you in contact with them. She's got a P.O. box here, or it could be C. Farber. I'm not sure if it's a guy or a girl because they don't tell me. It's just they got an initial and then a last name, so I can't assume. All right, one more here. This one kind of feels thick. It's just a card, maybe. All right, and this one comes from Chip and Jackie Mattoon, California. Is that an actual place? Rough and Ready, California? That's what
Wow.
it says. Rough and Ready, California. Huh.
It's probably not an actual place.
Oh, wow.
I wonder, right?
Like I'll always say, I live in
Oh, yeah.
the Boondocks, Alabama.
They sent a Q. It's like a, it's a, I don't know if it's a magnet or a sticker,
That is so cool.
but it's a cool. Can you see it, Amy?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I saw you hold it up.
Okay. And then, Michael, we think you could use another Q. Your case. They got a diagram of my case behind me, if you could see it.
Oh,
Like, here, hold on, let me do this.
I think it's so awesome how you have things from everybody all in the studio.
Fandom,
I love that.
right?
They're telling me, like, where, first Q you got here, second Q, your case.
Oh, that's cool.
There, now it will look like a trinity. Very cool. Very cool.
That is cool. That's a great idea.
Nice. And they sent a little bit of a donation here. It's a check. I'll hide everything. $17.
Oh, I wonder. You know why 17, right? You know why 17, right?
That's
guys?
Oh, I've seen it a lot. Somebody sent me some
you-
$2 bills and added, or is that right? And I think it was a $2 up to 16, and then a $1. It was like 17. Thank you guys so much.
Jared Rendon, Alyssa G. Thanks for joining us tonight, guys.
Got this book
Yeah,
here.
well-
It's been sitting here. Amy's the mod sent this to me.
That was a Christmas
Oh, nice.
present.
Bill Cooper.
Yep, Behold a
Behold a Pale
Pale.
Horse. Yes, sir. Yes, I know that book very well.
Oh wow, that's thick.
I'll send this to
It is
you.
a thick.
Watchful Warrior. Once you, you know, if you get a P.O. box or something, I'll send.
Oh, awesome.
It's glared.
Gotta love the coins.
Dang it.
Yeah, I see it.
Too much glare. How about this?
Oh, yeah, I can see it.
What'd it say?
What's it say?
Yeah.
Let's see if I can read it.
Hold on, I gotta do something here.
Somebody in the chat surely can probably read it.
All right, it says 1 shot, 1 kill.
1 shot, 1 kill. Okay.
It's a
cool.
challenge coin. And it spins.
Oh, sweet. Oh, I wanted to say hi to Melody Anon.
There.
Hey, Melody.
Now you can see it, right?
Yes.
Well, I don't know. It might be a little delayed.
Oh, wow.
The only thing I feel...
Ben.
What is it? The only thing I feel when I kill is the recoil of my rifle.
Grillin made an awesome comment.
Sorry.
Grillin says to the Patriot Tech, he said, no new Q yet. We go on. Q will be proud. We truly are the news now. Right on. That is so true. We are the news.
Yes, we have to be.
That's right. We are the news. And you know, Q never told anybody to do anything that you shouldn't have been doing anyway. Like, you know, doing your own research, not believing what the mainstream media tells you. You know, so I guess he's kind of prepared everybody that, you know, someday, you know, he might walk away for sure. But you're still going to be responsible for holding up your end, you know?
Yeah. No, I agree.
Right?
Yeah. No, it's patriot doesn't just mean, oh, I'm gonna go serve my country. I mean, a patriot can be a good statesman, somebody that pays attention, calls out evil, corruption. That's expected. So the research will go on. It has to. We get it now. More and more people every day. See, I think that's the hardest thing. Is to see when people come to the channel and like, ooh, you know, I'm new to this. I'm waking up, and then within a week, they're like, I get it now. You've been saying all this. I went through and hyper watched all your videos. I understand the full story. Well, they think they do, and then by week 3 or a month, they're like, nothing's happening, and then it's like they want to be done, and it's like, well, what point on that is. It's not about once you understand, you or me, like you get it, I get it, Amy gets it. We're all like, okay, we see. Some people, it's about the ones that aren't awake. See, I don't think Trump. Now, I read something a couple years ago about, you know, we talk about the Q post going back to like, you know, it talks about 1999, JFK, the plane wreck, HRC, the start of it all. They said that Trump went through a similar cue from the generals, like the people that selected him, that they put him through something very similar. So if you could imagine Trump, I guess he had a war room in one of his, you know, his New York apartment or something, where there was a whole wall full of computer screens, like, you know, 20, 30 screens. He got something pretty big set up, and he sat there and went through this, a different version, like we might be getting version 2.0, and became basically a troll on the internet and looked up all of everything from a path. So it's kind of that just makes you think, And you go back and you look at Trump's tweets. Look at his tweets from 2011, 2012, 2013. I mean, they are dead on accurate with calling out Obama. He wrote a book. Trump wrote a book in '99 that I know. I've done the Bill Cooper. I think today L showed the Bill Cooper where he predicted 9/11 3 months before it really happened. Because Bill Cooper called it out in July of that year, like there's gonna be a guy, Bill Osama. Don't you believe it? You know, they're gonna blame him for something. He's gonna. Trump did the same thing in '99. It's almost like Trump was somewhere at a party. Somebody's telling him this is gonna happen. They're gonna do this. There's gonna be a guy. We're gonna be looking for him. He's gonna be in caves. And Trump's like, really? I don't like that idea. You know what? I'm tired of this shit. Or he was selected, like we're told. And they just knew these things. It was like common knowledge with the people that run shit that they were going to do this next war. Here's how they're going to get us into it. They got so loose-lipped. It just became a different culture from back in the day where they kept it hidden. They showed some stuff in a movie. They got their rocks off that way. Nowadays, it seems like this new generation of cabal got real loose-lip. They're into the showboating a little more than the generation before them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You could technology. It's just like the mob. You know, you got the mouthy mob guy that would flaunt. I told you not to buy anything yet. We just did that heist 2 days ago. Ain't nobody noticing that I got the fur coat on. And
Right.
so I don't know. None of us know that exact. We're only gonna know once the books come out. The book will come out or something, and we'll find out so many more details that we'll be able to piece together that don't really matter right now anyway. But yeah, Goodfellas, the guy said, yeah. So I don't know. I find it interesting that and that Franklin cover up, the guy said it good too. That his high up buddy. When this guy was investigating, he had a high up buddy that was actually running the CIA at the time in the late 80s, early 90s. It was the head of the CIA. Can't remember the guy's name, Duffy or something. And he told this lawyer guy to back off this whole. He goes, "This goes deeper than what you think. You need to be careful." I mean, that guy, the head of the CIA, ended up getting found face down in a lake in his own yard, like dead, you know. But he said that right now evil's permitted to run. He goes, right now everything's got its time. And this lawyer guy from the 90s in this documentary, he's like, you know, and he's just basically telling me that right now evil has its time to shine. It's here. And one day it might not be, but right now it's here. So, and you can only think like, man, is this stopping now? Because I mean, why would, if you're complicit in human trafficking, which seems to be like, you know, we look at the mob and you see how they ran stuff in these movies, and it seems, I think the government, instead of doing these little things, they're into these huge, this is their scale of crime, right? Human trafficking, it's huge. They're allowed to, why would you put in executive orders to stop it if you're complicit in that? Why would you put in executive orders to take all the property and money back from somebody found to be guilty of these crimes? It just doesn't seem, you know, the New World Order is to keep open borders and let people run in and out so they can destroy the country, not set up borders and be sovereign. That's the opposite. Sovereignty, the word itself, is opposite of New World Order. One world money, one world system. You can't be sovereign. You know, we're all going to be one big nation, but we'll be sovereign. We'll, you know, the whole planet's, no, it doesn't work that way. So it doesn't mash up with people that try to think that Trump's part of it or complicit or setting things up for the future for himself, because it just doesn't, I don't think he's got much of a future. You know, he's 70 years old. He figured this is the last thing. So I'm with you guys on it, basically.
Yeah, right.
That in a nutshell.
I saw.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, I saw some interviews with Melania from 1999, and you know, President Trump has had his eye on office for quite a while, and I understand that he was responsible for putting together the political party that was running Ross Perot back in the day. If you remember Ross Perot.
Yes, I do. I do.
So I think President had his eye on this for quite a long time, and I think he thought, this was it. This was the time.
Yeah, I think Ross Perot ran against Clinton, didn't he? Was he one that, like in the early '90s, that was up against Clinton, maybe, or maybe it was Bush, the first Bush, or 1990 Bush, 88 Bush. It would have been 88. I don't know. I can't remember when Ross. I just remember something vaguely about KKK on him. He had KKK ties. I do remember that. That's, I was watching something on propaganda, and they talk about when they bring up a name, or for Trump, typically all that will be remembered in about 5 to 6 years. And you're like, hey, you remember when Trump was president? Oh yeah, Russia, right? That's their whole job. They've pounded into the head right now. People will always remember Russia, Trump. You're going to remember that connection in your brain because it's been pounded in there. So,
right.
That's powerful. It's very powerful how they do that.
What's up
I've been a
to
Trump watcher for a long time.
Pontiac Man 75?
What is it? Ponty C Man?
Well,
Pontiac.
Of the Donald for a long time.
Pontiac Man 75. Here, I was in the top chat, and I wasn't in the live chat. And as soon as I realized it, changed my chat to live chat. So now I'm seeing more names that I wasn't seeing earlier. So I just want to shout out to Pontiac Man 75, Axe Grinder.
What's the difference, real quick, on that live chat versus top chat?
Well, the top chat is going to be the people that are chatting the most, that are making the most comments. And then the live chat is going to be
everybody.
It's going to be everybody.
Gotcha. Okay.
So as soon as I got into the live chat, I noticed we had a troll. I'm like, why is this dude here?
Oh my.
That was funny. So we got people commenting about his name was Pootie. What a nice name. But he's gone now.
How about Christopher Olsen? Have we seen him top chatting or moderating at all? I'm looking at.
Olsen. What's up, Christopher Olsen?
Is he in the room?
I'm looking to see. I don't see him.
No, I'm just saying I'm looking. I clicked a thing that said moderators, and for the first time in forever, I'm seeing the moderators for this channel. And it seems like everyone, we know David Woodruff, Legacy Trues, which is Ben, L, Simone, Chris Stockton. Have we seen him in a while?
Oh yeah, I was just thinking about Chris Stockton.
Haven't seen him.
No, we haven't seen him in a while.
And he's come on the show. He's been on the show before.
And he is a Marine.
Yes.
And awesome guy. Last time we saw him, he was in what he called California.
California, yeah.
And he was down there helping with cleaning up and stuff when those.
He had the yellow vest on, and I was like, "You're a yellow vester," because he had it on for the show, but he was working.
But yeah, he had a baby back then, so I'm sure he's got his hands full.
Oh wow. Huh.
But yeah, I miss him. I'm gonna have to see if I can't get in touch with him and see what's up with him.
Was he not a mod on the Patriot Hour, just on Patriot Tech?
No, he was a mod on Patriot Hour.
Okay. Well, I got him on here too.
Okay.
And this Christopher Olsen, I used to see him a lot. He used to jump in and comment.
Yeah. I remember Christopher Olsen, and he plays music.
Yes.
Yeah, he's cool. I haven't seen him in a while either.
How about Derek Seaman?
Derek Seaman, that is somebody, I never knew him too well. That was somebody that Elle had recommended to make a moderator. I think he was somebody hanging out over in her chat.
Gotcha.
Haven't seen him in a little while, but he's a nice guy too.
Randy Robin.
Oh, Randy Robbins. He's over there at Patriot Hour. Okay. He's awesome.
He's also here, but I haven't seen him but today, I don't think. But.
And where's Danielle? Danielle Bird, you better get your butt in here, girl.
Probably sleeping. Joking.
She's got her hands full.
Ooh, Lori M. No, see, I don't know if Lori M's ever been over here. I know she was.
Yeah, I think she was here. She was here Saturday.
Okay. And she's not a mod, though. I have to make
Yeah,
her
we
one.
saw Lori.
Oh yeah, she's a mod over at a Patriot Hour.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to.
Oh, Jeremy Ross is here. Jeremy Ross, he popped in last night over at Watchful Warrior, and thank you for coming over, Jeremy.
Yes.
Absolutely. So it's good to see Dave. Yeah, a lot of the mods come over. Like, Lori comes over, Simone comes over, and Ellie comes over. Of course, Amy's there as well, and Danielle was over the other evening. What was it, last night, Amy? I can't remember.
Yeah, because I saw
night.
it. I was talking to all them.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Dean Kohler, welcome to the chat, and he's asking a way to get a hold of you guys aside from the chat. I'm assuming he's wanting to get a hold of you, Michael. So Dean, you can email the Patriot Hour. You can email at Patriot Hour, not the Patriot Hour, just Patriot Hour 2018 at gmail.com. And I'll go ahead and type it in the chat too.
Yes, thank you.
See, that's a good mod right there, Mike.
Yes. Yes. So, what else is going on, or do you guys know about anything?
There's a lot going on.
I know. Judicial Watch. Judicial Watch got Bruce Orr, and Christopher Still. They have to release the memos. The judge ordered today, so I don't know how quick that'll be, but that'd be cool.
Yeah, I was hearing something about that earlier today. I can't remember what it was. It was on the radio. But yeah, they had I don't know. I don't know if they had a victory, but what exactly? Can you touch on that again? Because I thought that was kind of interesting.
Bruce Orr and we all know that Bruce Orr got fired from the FBI, but yet his wife worked for Fusion, and then they were still back channeling everything. It just gets real muffly as far as the contacts and how they were getting their information. It's just the undo. Like this. See, and I think Trump understands this. Like, if we are going to have mass arrest, if we're going to undo these indictments, you want the most amount of people, because it's not about the people that are frustrated. And I know we're all frustrated with result, justice, people being held accountable. But you need to slow roll these D-class little by little. Each time you show something more, it should wake up another percentage. If you have 50% of the country sleeping and in tune to the fake news, once Trump starts arresting, they're going to call for, he is Hitler. He's a military dictator. Whatever they're going to call him. And then they're going to I believe that the media is going to straight up tell people, you need to get your guns and go out. And they're going to get them to go out and riot, just like they already did when Trump won. These people told you, like, if Trump wins, the sky's going to fall, the stock market's going to crash, we're going to be in World War III, it's going to be a nuclear war at that, and there's going to be riots. People are going to go riot, and that's what they told me. Well, when Trump won, nothing happened other than these riots, but if you went and pulled off the mask of that guy that was rioting, it would have been the guy that told you there'd be riots. Like, that's how you take that, right? It's like, well, it's you. You told me there'd be rioting. You never told me it would be you. And he'd tell you that's besides the point. That's how these people work. But I believe truly that Trump knows that, he's not mad at the average American citizen that's been brainwashed. He wants to unbrainwash you. And we didn't get brainwashed overnight. It took hundreds of years. This evil system is thousands of years in the making. So 2 years in my book, 3 years isn't that long to try to undo it. I've noticed like fluoride-free toothpaste showing up more and more abundantly. So I think these organic fruits, these things that are going to undo the calcification in everyone's head, because some of that stuff does suppress you, and it's just coming out organic. As evil as the stuff's been brought in little by little over time, TV shows, the little kid shows on Nickelodeon getting more and more sexual. It didn't happen overnight. It's been a slow process. So to undo it can be just as slow, but I don't think it will be. But it's not as quick as some people want. So when they finally start arresting, if we have 30% of the population still asleep and the media tells you to go out and do things, that 30% is going to go out around these cities. It's going to be, people are going to get hurt. Cars are going to get flipped. Buildings are going to be burnt. They're going to burn down their cities, just like they do when they're felt like they're, when they're all jarred up with other things going on in their cities, and they've done that before. So if the media is telling you to take out this military dictator, go riot in the streets, we want the least amount of people to do that. So I don't know if it's a matter of getting down to 20% of population sleeping, 15%. Hopefully by the end of these D classes and stuff, that's that many more people waking up. I mean, you look at it like he said, look at the Trump rallies, the more and more people showing up. It's a good indicator in areas that it used to be all blue, and you're getting these turnouts of 20,000 people that can't get in. That's crazy. So that's my thought on all that. I'm getting tired too.
Right.
We'll shut this down here soon. I don't know how much longer. We're at about 2 hours.
Well, Grillin said they're carpet bombing with info right now. The Moab is coming. And that's true.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we could all feel a burst. Almost feels like a gasket. Just getting ready to burst, I don't know if you guys feel that, but I've been feeling that for not a long time, just recently. It's there.
Yeah. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I don't know if you guys have any good local radio stations where you're at, but here in Alabama, and I know that Alabama is a red state, and Alabama is kind of like leading the way in, it's a very conservative state, and we have a radio station called American Family Radio. And I don't know if you guys might want to look into it to see if you have any stations like that back home where y'all are, but it's very cool to hear on the radio. They're sounding like Q. I mean, they're awake. I mean, they're talking about deep state. They're talking about the corruption and the evil, and it's amazing. So yeah, look into it and see if you guys have any local radio stations that are. This is called American Family Radio. I don't know if that's just a Southern thing or if it's worldwide or what, but it would be worth looking into.
No.
It's really cool.
I agree.
That sounds cool. I know radio is big over here in Georgia too, Amy. So a lot of people are into radio. That it's not so much TV like you might think.
No, and I thought about you as well, Greg. We can. There's a few things you can do really simple and get into internet radio, and then at the same time you're doing your shows, you flip another little switch or turn something on the computer, and then you're beaming out to internet radio. It's all free. It's almost like taking your video and just turn a minute. Because I had people ask me that early on, like, "Are you guys podcasts just so I can listen?" And it's like, man, I don't know. A lot of the stuff we do, we're going over paperwork on my shows, so it's kind of like. Or early on anyway, it was like we'd show things and we're reading it. And I guess if you're reading it, if you're conscious that you're going out on the radio, you could probably make it work. You just got to make sure you describe, can't just show video or images all the time. Like, see there? It says it right there. Right. All right, let's go on to this next thing. Look at that. Yeah, you see it? No, you got to read it.
I don't know if it would help, Mike, but I have, I'm a ham radio operator, so I have a broadcast license from the FCC.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if that would help.
Yeah, no, and I know Bill Cooper used to do ham. I think he went over that way for a long time, where people used to rebroadcast them on that or something.
Right, shortwave.
Yes.
There's a super cool comment from MCG, which I haven't seen this name before. So, hello, MCG. She said, I had a dream about Trump a week before the election, and in the dream, he told me to trust him and that he would need our help. That's really awesome. That gives me goosebumps. So she had a dream about Trump a week before the election, and in the dream, he was telling her that he was going to need our help, and that has definitely come to pass.
Wow.
Super cool.
It is.
This has been really fun. I've really enjoyed hanging out with you guys and getting to connect with the Patriots and read the chat. You all are awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You guys got any closing words or shout outs or any words for the Patriots?
I just wanted to go ahead, Greg.
Go ahead, Miss Amy. No, ma'am, you go ahead.
I know
Miss
he
Amy?
I know he won't. I know he won't go. He's gonna make me go first. So, because he's a gentleman like that.
Ladies first.
Basically, I'm just gonna say this: don't lose hope. Don't let yourself get into a dark, hopeless place, because what we need now more than anything is faith. So keep on praying. Don't underestimate the power of prayer. Keep on praying. Keep on having faith. And I believe that that we're going to see amazing things. I mean, we're already seeing amazing things happen, but I truly do believe that that God is behind this movement, the Great Awakening, and I just I have a lot of hope. I have a lot of hope for the future of this country. So don't lose hope.
All right.
That's
How
a
about
great
you,
message.
Watchful Warrior?
Geez, I would just say, don't fall for everything. The Democrats and the lefts are going to be trying everything in their power to get you off your game from every which direction. You just got to hold the line. Don't retreat, and don't buy anything that they're selling at all, because they're all lies. I would just encourage everybody to prep up, train up, and get ready. Put your head on a swivel and be prepared, right? Stick together. That's a big thing. We need to stick together, because we're more powerful together than we are by ourselves, right? So that's what I would say. But thanks, Mike. I also want to tell you thanks for the opportunity to come on your show. I really enjoyed myself this evening, and I hope to see you come over and come to my show, and then come to Amy and I's show. I mean, that would really be fantastic. I'd love to have you over.
Yes, anytime. This is a awesome time, and I will do it again. I'll come on Watchful Warrior. I'll come on Patriot Lounge for sure, and I would love to have you guys back on in the future. Maybe we get Amy in actual, in studio beam in. So even if you have to go to the McDonald's.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was your internet or not, Amy. I don't know if that was the issue. It probably is something to do with Safari, iPad. I don't know. You'll get it figured out, and we'll get it figured out. So, all right, you guys, I appreciate it. And we'll see you back here real soon. And all the Patriots that were here for the time, thank you guys, and we appreciate it.
Thank you all.
And give us
Good night.
Yep, good night. And give us a thumbs up on your way out, and never give up anything for free to these idiots, folks. No more. Don't give up any of your liberties or freedoms. We got to hold on to everything we have, because giving stuff up to idiots, it's real hard to get back. So we try not to give up anything anymore. All right. Good night, you guys. We'll see you back here real soon.
press, to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive.